Hey, this is Walt here from StogieReview.com with another video cigar review. It's been a little while since I've done one of these, so bear with me as I try to break some of the rust off and get back into the groove of doing these cigar videos. Now, the cigar I have for you today it's not going to be a full-blown review. I was asked about doing some more humidor diving videos. Haven't really gotten around to that yet either. But what I do have is a first impression video, and this is the Black Pedro from Felipe Gregorio Cigars. Now, I received 3 of these cigars recently. Not quite enough to do a full-blown review on, but enough to do one of these first impressions videos and maybe a follow-up video at some point in time later on down the road. And I really don't know anything about this cigar. It just kind of showed up in the mail, and there was a little thank you card for thanking me for my time for looking at the cigar or smoking it and just giving them some feedback. But that's really the extent of my history with this cigar and what I know about it. So what I did was I headed over to I just Googled Black Pedro Felipe Gregorio, and the first couple of results that I came up with were YouTube results, and it turns out there's a Felipe Gregorio video explaining this cigar a little bit. So I did what any cigar blogger would do. I lifted the video and I'm going to inject it into this video, and I'll play that for you while I'm lighting the cigar and things like that, so that you can get as much information as I have. The video is very, very short, probably about 1 minute and 15 seconds, and it's just a very, very brief synopsis of what this Black Pedro is. So we'll get to that in just a second, but first and foremost, let's look over the cigar, give it a visual inspection, and then I'll go into cutting and lighting and you can watch the video. So first, the cigar looks a bit rough. There are several veins moving all around the cigar. They're kind of heavy, they stand out, they give it a really rough texture. They don't look so great. The wrapper leaf is nice and dark except for where the veins are, and then it's kind of blotchy. And I'll see if I can show you that. I took some pictures of this. I'm going to try to inlay them in, but I'm not quite sure how it's going to work. As you may be able to see the light band running down the cigar. That's one of the veins, and you have those in several places throughout the cigar. The cap looks like it's neatly applied. It's a shade or two lighter than the rest of the cigar, but it looks like it's applied well. It covers the shoulder pretty well. I have a bit of a pet peeve about the cap when it barely just rolls over the shoulder. A lot of times when I clip it, the remainder of the cap winds up falling off. Then you run into problems with the wrapper unwinding. But in this case, it rolls over the shoulder nice and far, and it shouldn't lead to any problems at all. The foot of the cigar looks pretty good. There's some space in there, so it doesn't appear as though it's overpacked. I should have a good draw out of it, and it feels nice and consistent, well packed, evenly packed. So far so good. A bit rough looking, but no real problems, so to speak, or nothing that I'm seeing. So as I clip and light my cigar, actually I should probably clip it and then tell you the pre-light draw is like and all that other stuff. As I said, you just got to bear with me for the time being. We've had so much just other coverage with the famous Cigar Expo and the Delaware Cigar Festival. There really has been no need for me to do these videos. Well, there always is a need, but I just got kind of lazy. It's got a heavy, grassy taste to it. The draw is otherwise great. Just that pre-flight flavor is kind of grassy, so we'll see how it goes. I'm going to go ahead and move into the lighting process. You can watch the Felipe Gregorio video, and you'll know as much as I know.
This is the Black Pedro. It is a full Maduro line of cigars. It has a Sumatra from Ecuador Maduro wrapper, and it has all Nicaraguan Maduro tobacco. When we say Maduro, there's different concepts. People age Maduro and they age it, and some people put dyes on it. These are all natural sun-grown Maduros that the filler binder have been selected from the darker tobaccos. So in essence, you're dealing with a full-body Maduro cigar. This comes in 4 shapes, and it is a strong, complex cigar that will give the Maduro smoker everything that he's looking for in a cigar. A toasty flavor, as well as complexities and strength.
All right, well, you've seen all that I've seen on the Black Pedro from Felipe Gregorio, and you know I was going to wait a little while and come back a little bit further into the cigar, but you know I grabbed my lighter. I've got the video playing as I'm toasting and lighting my cigar, and I begin the toasting process, and the aroma starts rising, and it makes me crinkle my nose a little bit. It smells weird. I'm toasting it some more. And then I get this like feet kind of just raw, not so pleasant smell. Toasting it some more, and now I'm beginning to dread what the cigar is going to be like when I actually puff on it, because quite frankly, it just smells foul as I'm toasting it. Toasting it, and I blow on the end of it. It's nice and lit, and then I'm expecting really bad. Take a nice big puff, retrohale it, get it through the sinus. I'm expecting the worst, and it's actually quite pleasant. I was really shocked. It tastes nothing like it smells, because it just outright stinks. The resting smoke is pretty rough. Through the sinus, it's fairly smooth. There's a bit of a pepper aroma to it. There's something else I can't quite put my finger on. Across the palate, it's got a bit of a drying effect. It's a little rough on my throat, but the flavor itself is kind of pleasant. It's a little bitter, a little peppery, but I'm only like 2 or 3 puffs into the cigar, and I was just really surprised by how different it tasted from the room aroma. So no real notable reason for turning the camera back on. I just thought, what the hell? I'll share this amusing little story that I just experienced. So I'm gonna smoke some more of my Black Pedro from Felipe Gregorio as I continue on my addiction with the Big Bang Theory. And I say that, and I don't mean, I sit down and I watch the Big Bang Theory every week. I actually discovered it and seriously started watching it like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I've blown through all of the seasons. I'm about halfway through season 4 now, so it's just a horrible addiction then, and I really like the show. So I'm going to watch an episode of the Big Bang Theory. Then I'm going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit more about the Black Pedro and what my experiences are with it along the way. And then if there's time, I'll probably watch another episode, and I'll come back one last time. We'll close out the video, and then I'll let you be on your way. So sit tight. I'll be right back. Alright, well, the episode of the Big Bang Theory that I was watching is over, and now it is time to come back with some more information on the cigar. The goal was to watch an episode, come back, maybe watch one more episode and come back, but I'm getting pretty short on the cigar, and it just makes sense to only come back once. So let's sort of get an overview of what I think the cigar has, flavor-wise, taste-wise, and then I'll just wrap up this video so that it's relatively short, and just kind of ease my way back into these videos. We'll do something short and sweet this time. So as you saw in the earlier video with Felipe Gregorio, or you saw earlier in the Felipe Gregorio video, I don't know if that's actually Felipe Gregorio or not, but he makes mention that the cigar is powerful, very full-bodied, and I don't know that I agree with that 100%. I mean, it seems as though over the last couple of years we've seen a redefinition in the way full-bodied cigars are classified, and I really don't think this is full-bodied to La Flor Dominicana standards or Cane F standards or El Cobre standards, things like that. This is probably medium to full. It's got a really hearty flavor to it, And I like that quite a bit. It's got some punch through the sinus. There's some pepper there. Across the palate, I'm getting, you know, those typical Maduro flavors. A little bit of bitterness, a little bit of a coffee-like flavor, a little bit of like a dark, bitter chocolate. And there's something else there that I really can't place. It's interesting. I kind of want to say it's like black licorice, but not really. It's kind of unique. It's a little sweet, and it's kind of tucked away in the background. It's not a really bold flavor that kind of smacks you in the face. It's subtle, and you know, when you just focus on the flavors, you'll find it lingering in the background. I think it does something really interesting to the cigar, and it's something that I think is unique. It's not a flavor that I'd pick up in a lot of other cigars. So, from a flavor standpoint, you know, I think this cigar is unique and enjoyable. It's got a good balance of power and flavor. When I watched that video and it was described as being a very full-bodied cigar, my only real concern was that it would be out of balance and it would be more power than flavor. But the fact of the matter is, it's balanced really well. One doesn't outshine the other. I mean, it's got some power to it, but it's got lots of flavor as well. So I'm really enjoying it. It really did surprise me. I don't smoke a lot of Felipe Gregorio stuff. It's not a brand that I can find locally. I mean, I've seen it at Cigars International and things like that, and you know, I've smoked some of their product here and there, but it's never been a staple in my humidor. If the rest of the Black Pedro samples are as good as this one, this has a very good chance of becoming a staple in my humidor. I don't know what they cost. I don't know what the availability is. I just know that I got 3 in the mail, and this first one is really enjoyable. And this is the Robusto size. I have 3 sizes. I got a Robusto, a Torpedo, and I think the other is a Churchill. In terms of smokability, it's providing lots of dense smoke. It coats the palate really well. It's nice and thick. It's easy to push through the sinus. Sometimes cigars get kind of airy, and I find it difficult to retrohale them. That's really not the case with this cigar. Burn-wise, I had to touch it up once because I let it sit in the ashtray while I ran upstairs and refreshed my drink. But aside from that, it's doing really well. It's still smoking fairly cool. The burn line is thin and even for the most part. The ash isn't. I mean, it holds on for about half an inch, 3/4 of an inch, and it holds a decent shape. But when it breaks, it leaves this weird sort of jagged shape. You can see part of it here. And that's kind of the way the ash comes off. It hasn't dropped off unexpectedly, so you know, I really can't complain much about the way the cigar looks after it ashes. But all in all, I think it's a good, solid cigar, and I'm really interested in trying the others to see if there's some consistency in the line. And if there is, I may just have to look up where I can get some more, because you know, I think it's a good, solid cigar. So with that said, it's about time to wrap up the video. So I want to thank you for watching another Stogie Review video review. I look forward to seeing the comments on the comment section of Stogie Review. And don't be afraid of those social share buttons down the bottom of the post. There's one for Facebook, there's one for Google+, there is one for Stumbled Upon, one for LinkedIn. You know, click those buttons, it'll share the post over the services, and you can tell all your friends about all these awesome reviews and posts and things that we do on Stogie Review. So, with that said, thanks for watching, and I will catch you later.